I want to touch on this because it just came to my head, and this is regarding, well, basically that January 9 incident that's still haunting me to this very day as we almost approach the 2 year, or not 2 year, I'm sorry, the 2 month anniversary of it. And, you know, the way I see it, and this made me think about, what was it? The time when me and Rico did not speak for, I think it was like 4 months, 4.5, after some misunderstanding, after my my center point logo got selected as to be what, like, to put on their, on their marketing materials, when me and Rico did that center point logo together with Donald. And in the end, I don't know what I did at that. I mean, at least for that, I was like, I don't know what got Rico upset, to the point where he thought I was insulting him, in this very case, which I really do disagree. But unfortunately, he saw it as like I insulted him. And it is what it is. We did not talk for like 4 months, and trust me, during that entire process, and I know Anna was still working with us at the time, and she was my supervisor. That like me and Rico just not talking. They talked, they do talk a lot, but I almost to feel like I've been left out of the loop because of that incident. Now, me and Rico had a lot of ups and downs, right? Prior to that incident, just some misunderstandings where it got him, annoyed and pissed off. But in the end, we were still cool, right? But yeah, we did not, like, after that misunderstanding. That was like right toward the end of January. We did not talk for 4 months. All right, so it turns out, like, after, what was it? It was sometime around June, I think. Mid-June, we started becoming cool again, and everything's back to normal and what have you. The only thing is, things were different, especially as I was learning my role at the time, right? Learning how to do some of the things that he's done, before that became my regular role. And also now, like, Armando's, I think we're practically doing the same shit, but although Armando's doing more of the website and all that, right? Yeah, so here's why, like, here's the main difference as to why I think, between, like, comparing this, comparing that time where, where me and Rico didn't talk versus this time where me and some of my family members didn't talk. All right. When me and Rico did not talk for like 4 months, he was like, we were still working together. I mean, we had no choice. I mean, and besides, it was my first year at the time in that dump, which was then a real workplace, right? So I was learning a lot through him. Yeah, I was doing the data entry stuff, and on the website, the old website, and he was doing the flyers at that time, and he was having me to learn all that stuff, like, in the process, getting me accustomed to doing the flyers and even the catalog. Well, the catalog wasn't until August, and we were already good by then. But he was having me to get accustomed to doing in-house flyers and taking them to roll call. He was my lead at the time, right? But then eventually learning how to do the first magazine advertising and ENX, right? So I was learning a lot through him, even during the process that we were not talking, and we were still working together. So I was learning stuff. I was growing as a person, and I was growing in my role, which was, supposed graphic artist. Then, let's just be honest. I think my first few years, I was a graphic artist. After that, I was nothing. My role just became fake all of a sudden. Like, I'm hardly doing anything, and I know the rest with how this dump is going through. So it is what it is. Like, I'm not about to go there, but yeah, the reason why I say this it felt different then is because I had so much hope, and this was all back in 2013, a year where I had a really good bounce back from 2012. By the way, when that year where I saw later on I got hired, by Rico. He got me the job in September of 2012, right? That was a start for good things to come, some changes to come, right? Going to 2013, so yeah, I had a bounce back year, right? Also saw a record-setting number of group hangouts with the nutballers alone, right? So, but my thing is, yeah, that year saw a lot of potential, even though me and Rico had gone through this painful. Well, for me, it was a very cold and painful experience for us to not talk, and I didn't know how long this was going to last. And for me, I thought it was never going to be like this again. And look, I'll admit it. Even though it was just my first year, and I think going into my fourth month of my first year, I was job hunting already, right? I was starting to do job hunting, and what site did I use at the time? I do not clearly remember, but I'm gonna say Indeed. But this is like way back in 2013. Fast forward 13 years later, it's already 2026, and I had to endure it because it was my first year, and I needed to learn my role. I needed my job. I needed it because and regardless of our awkward silence. Yeah, it was cold. I'll tell you that. It was cold. But it is what it is. I mean, it got me to be more disciplined, especially, continuously working with Rico together, and just to get a lot of stuff done, right? Well, at least I saw a healing in the process while we were working, right? Even though it took 4 months, at least we started to heal. In the case of this one, in my household, where some of one of my family members still is not talking to me after that January 9th incident, I'm gonna be really brutal here. I don't think this is gonna heal. And I know it's only 2 months. Maybe it will reach 4 months, like with me and Rico. Who knows? But the way I see this, though, it's different, and I don't think it's gonna heal. I don't want to go as far as saying anytime soon, but I wish I could say it's anytime soon. But the fact of the matter is, I think it will not heal. Like, I don't know. I just don't think this will heal. And I know I'm gonna sound crazy saying that it's not gonna heal, period, because one, despite like so many of the arguments that me and that family member had, and now with a child on that family member's side, it's like everything that that family member got to get me to learn how to challenge myself mentally, right, through the mental health program that I'm doing. Now all of a sudden, like the argument that we had, it's and to this day it's haunting me because I saw that more as, what, I think it's over, because there like between that time and now, as we almost approach the 2-month anniversary, this one hits very different, because there were actually no signs. There were no signs to show that what is going on over there. No, I'm just gonna mind my own business. There were no signs to show. There were no signs to show that, you know, things are gonna get better in that relationship between me and the family member. There were no signs at all. It's almost like that family member just, you know, thinks I'm just already non-existent. Now, some of my other family members can say, well, just let it heal, ignore them. At this point, ignoring it just isn't enough anymore. And the way I see it is, this ain't gonna heal. If it was gonna heal, there will be signs that it is gonna heal. Yeah, I know we've done a couple family member trips, but, you know, still, it almost felt like to that family, that certain family member, I was non-existent. But, you know, I mean, that family member's got a child to deal with. So it is what it is, you know. Like, the fact that I'm still, like, the way I see it is, look, this gives me an opportunity, and this opportunity has to get bigger now, about moving out. It's really nice and clear outside on this other side. It's gonna give me a bigger opportunity, more like it's pushing this opportunity for me to to move out. And again, I'm not gonna back down from it. I just haven't really spent too much time just digging into it, right? Because I haven't heard back from Amanda, and you know, maybe she's probably super busy too, right? But the difference between, you know, what me and Rico went through and what me and the family member went through here is that, you know, with me and Rico, I had plenty of opportunities to better myself. You know, it was a work-related thing. Yeah, I had to learn my role and do better at it, and, you know, do more things that, you know, he taught me, and, you know, eventually we were good after that. It took 4 months. In the case of this one hits different because, one, this argument, although it may seem like, you know, it's nothing too different about, you know, in comparison to our other arguments, right? But with this one, this was like well after that family member got me into doing the whole mental health thing, and since then, it's like, I know what I said towards the end of that argument. Just, you know, I said, well, and look, I get what Amanda's saying. You know, it doesn't matter whose fault it is. It's all semantics at this point. It's like, in the end, I know I should have controlled my emotions, but what's done is done at the end, you know. But knowing that family member, it's like certain things that do annoy her. I think, you know, that family member just has a tendency to just not let go. I mean, I could be wrong from what I've heard, but, you know, judging from what I see here, it's almost like, you know, the opportunities that I learned from that family member, you know, as far as like a new task, it's not, you know, it's now given, like, one of my other family members is learning the same thing, right? So so now it's just more about, like, you know, doing, like, it's almost like the family members doing everything they can to just, you know, just not make me part of, I won't say make me, but, like, you know, there's absolutely no signs that, you know, I'm trying to, that family member is trying to get, you know, make me better and all that. That's not the case anymore. Why else did my birthday suck? You know what I'm saying? Usually we have these these pictures with the birthday cake and all that, but that family member wasn't part of it, because at that time, was still bitter about what had happened. And I'm seeing all the signs, like, in a bad way, that to the point where that family member just does not want me around anymore. And I hate to say it, but that's why I say that this isn't going to heal. I don't want to go on too much about this, but right now I'm doing everything I can to just get myself out of that household. And unfortunately, things are just not getting better. And obviously I got to work on getting out of my dump too, because things are not getting better either here. So I'm gonna leave it at that. Tell me what you guys think. Thank you for watching, everyone. Like, share, and subscribe.